The inconsistencies are there. Big challenge. Maybe for those that are in survey and the rest, you would hear that this person used MENA coordinates to collect the data. Another one is using WGS 1984. This one is using, so that national consciousness towards one datum is not there. So everybody is just using what works for them to collect the data. At the end of the day, we want to integrate the data, it's not working. So we need to establish something that would give us a reference when we are collecting data to work with. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Because we're having this meeting and we're having these conversations, and I know that this information is going to be out there, we're hoping that the people who need to hear will hear. And I'm also hoping that this is not the end of this conversation. That I've seen people networking and talking, different organizations are here who are hearing what we're saying, who will continue this conversation. These national frameworks will not build themselves. They have to be built by people, by institutions, by government, yes, but with support and partnership. Again, the word synergy from all of us, from all of these critical institutions. Now, I know that we're want for time, so we'll open the floor before you say your last. You have something to say? Yes, please.
Sorry, I just want to add to what he said about having a framework. There's something called National Capital Accounting by the World Bank that we ran for 2 years, and there's also something called National Geodata, NGDI, National Geodata Infrastructure. In the US, they call it SDI. In 2007, Nigeria started, so NASDAQ started it, whereby SCL can bring data about their farms. You put it like a data bank. It's clean. There's a lot of quality control checks. And whoever wants to access it will have to get permission from you guys, from SCL. And a certain token will be paid to SCL and also the managers. This was working perfectly before there's a political swindle. And this project was almost $1 billion as at then. And there was even a building built for that. We have data bank and mission planning. There's a special aspect, the satellite data at every level. And we are looking at it even at the high resolution, medium resolution, and all. So if that thing was in place, the World Bank would have brought their national capital accounting. National capital accounting, you have the land use land cover accounts, which we don't have, like he said, you don't have a guide. For the World Bank, because what they do is there's a SEA, there's SEEA, SEA. This is like a platform whereby they measure if your country is environmentally viable or not viable, or whatever action you're doing. We have the national emission account, we have the energy budget account. So these are to calculate your carbon footprints and also access to foreign loans. So this was done. We kept, to an extent that we had to come up, I think my colleague Dr. Shomboro was also part of it. We had to come up with 13 different land use types, because whatever we are going to do, it has to fit in that, because that is what the whole world is using to calculate their environmental viability and all. So having done that, we had the first meeting. We had the second meeting. We gathered all experts at the Fraser suit. That was like 2 years ago, then last year. And we agreed at certain point. It was a rigorous thing that we were finishing by 10 o'clock in the night. And because the World Bank needed it for their report. I tell you today, we got to a point whereby we now tell all stakeholders, okay, you need to submit something. Because there's the first tier, second tier, third tier to the fifth tier, so that it gets to the lowest level. And this is going to help us, only going to help us support our agricultural, because it's strictly for agriculture, land use, land cover. So that you'll be able to separate, like, okay, when Mr. Mike was making his presentation, I saw something like grassland and shrubland, and also vegetation. that vegetation will have been woodland, for example. You understand? Because if you remove shrubland from and grassland from it, the next is woodland. You understand? But if we had a standard, you understand? There shouldn't be that complex, and there shouldn't be if like something called standard of practice. If you're doing anything, you should know you're using WGS 1984, a standard. It is the olden days that we are using the Minadatum, using the Clark 1886 method way of using your projection and the coordinate system. So there is something on ground. In short, recently, NASDA, MPOPC, National Population Commission, said they were the ones who guide NGDI. But you guys don't have the mandate. But there's been a lot of political shuffle now that now the second reading is now getting to come back to NASDA. But this thing requires a lot of commitment. If I go to survey, I go to Ministry of Agriculture Insurance, there should be someone that should be a desk officer for that. But instead of you to appoint a younger desk officer that will train other people, maybe there's some kind of benefit about it. Is the director that wants to be coming or the senior officer? How does the knowledge now? See, the problem is beyond just technology. It's an intentional problem that needs to be addressed. So first, we need to, first of all, get IPO to wash our mindsets so that we can be clean about it. Then we now set it straight. This is the standard of practice, and this is what we follow. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing that. We do realize in this country that we have the brilliance, we have the ideas, we have the frameworks, but maybe what we don't have a lot of is the political will, like you've mentioned, and the drive to want to do better. But, you know, we're making progress, incremental, small. We're making progress. So I open the floor for questions. Do we have questions? Yes.
Yeah, question.
Good afternoon. Once again, my name is Aja Francis from Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria. Now, let me start with comments. Because being a staff, an assistant director in that agency, I've been able to understand a lot of things that is going on. I can speak on any aspect. I can speak. It's okay. I can speak on a lot of areas. Now, Dr. Aderoju made mention of certain bottlenecks where senior directors, they prefer doing everything instead of having desk officers, because they feel that those junior ones that are desk officers, that they benefit a lot. So they want to harness everything. That is one big challenge that I would like to identify there. Then on the other aspects, it's not that government is not doing a lot, especially on these tools of GIS. Now, if you are following, the last NCA council meeting that took place in Kaduna, a lot of issues were brought up. And if you were able to listen, you will know the stages Nigeria is going in terms of enhancing agricultural productivity. Now, there's a study that's still ongoing. The National Soil Survey project is still ongoing. They have covered 6 states, and they are moving. Now, that is one aspect. Now, recently, a project was launched that is called Nigerian Farmers Soil Health Scheme. Now, that soil health scheme is there is, in the past, a lot of research work were sponsored by, will I say, international bodies. And when you finish their project, their work, they will collect everything and go. Now, Nigeria don't have that baseline information. If you need anything to work on, you have to start begging them. That has been our problem. Then, but in the for us to establish that National Farmer Soil Health Scheme, now it has to. There's another component which is a GIS innovation, Nigerian Soil Information System. We're having it now. We have the server right now. What the work that is being done there is trying to populate the server so that the database will be rich to collect a lot of information and populate it. Now, the program of that NFSHS is more or less most of the things we are talking about. It gives farmers information of their farmlands, soil information. Now, that information will enable will enable farmers to have fertilizer recommendation. We are moving towards specific fertilizer production. Each soil site should have a specified type of fertilizer that they should use. Then crop recommendation. So it's going to hoist for Nigeria a lot. That's NISIS. So that is ongoing right now. So some other question that I would like to ask question to. No. I said contribution.
Thank you for your comments.
That's comments.
Okay.
Now question. Now Okomo oil. We know Okomo oil, and I know NIFO very, very well. Now Okomo oil, they have been doing a lot, and you have exposed a lot of things that they have been doing. But my problem now is how do we relate your sophistication with the price of your product in the market, and also weigh it with the price of smallholder farmers' products of the same oil, palm oil. Why is it that your products are still more expensive than the other ones in the market? Now, our man from NASDAQ and from Nice Stats. Now, to get information from them is always very hard, and you pay dearly before you get it. The same thing with NIMET. To get any little information is difficult, and you pass a lot of process to get them. So how can this thing, we need to, all stakeholders, all the stakeholders need to work together so that things will work in Nigeria. Thank you.
This is government to government, yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you, I'm Kenneth Sunday Shaho. I'm a GIS. I'm pushing a career in GIS. I would like to ask Mr. Anebit, my question goes direct to him because of his profession and the field he's practicing it, which is in the plantation, the oil palm plantation. Yeah, because there was time I got a job in the oil palm plantation, but this plantation they were just beginning their company, so they were still planting then. So the job they advertised, what was written on the